Hi everybody, this is Maureen Wong with YourNextStamp.com. Today we're going to be making this super simple, clean and simple card, and one thing I want to point out is that a lot of our images are meant to be colored, but that doesn't mean that you have to color them in. This is a great example of just stamping in a color tone, and I added a little black eye instead of a red eye because I think that's kind of scary. But I just stamped this little digger in red ink instead of black ink and coloring it, and so it makes it really quick and simple. These are easy to duplicate, and you can make a whole bunch for Valentine's Day or just for any occasion. So let's get started. Okay, for supplies, I have this little strip of red cardstock. This is cut 3 1/4 inches high by 4 1/4 inches wide. I have a little scrap piece of cardstock that I'm going to stamp my vehicle onto. I have a white A2 card base, top folding. And then from Your Next Stamp, I have the Heart Splatter set and the Keep On Trucking stamp set and matching dies. And in case you're wondering, there wasn't some sort of weird accident with my stamp. There's just a big empty space right here, and it was tending to pick up ink when I inked it, and it actually got onto my projects. So I just took a scissors and cut it out, and I didn't cut away any of the image at all. This was just a big open blank area, so that's why it looks like this now. And it doesn't hurt the stamp at all, and it actually stamps better without getting that ink smudges on that empty space. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is take out our stamp set, the Keep On Trucking stamp set, and I'm actually going to use my MISTI for this, and you don't need a MISTI to do this, but it's a little bit easier, and so that's why I'm using it. But I will tell you how to achieve the same look without using your MISTI, a MISTI. Okay, so I'm positioning my scrap of cardstock in the corner, and I'm going to place my stamp where I want it to go and close my lid. I'm going to reposition that cardstock into the corner and hold it down temporarily with a magnet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my real red ink pad from Stampin' Up, and I'm going to ink my entire stamp. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my baby wipe, and just with the tip of my finger I'm going to wipe off the ink from his eyeball. Just the eyeball, not anything else, because I don't want a red eyeball. That's kind of creepy. So now I'm going to shut my MISTI cover and stamp him down. And you can see there's a little bit of red, but we're going to cover that up. If there's a little bit of red, it's not too bad. It's okay to easy to cover it up. If you have a really big red splotch that's really dark, it's a little harder to cover up. That's why I wiped it away. So like this is showing you don't have to wipe the whole thing away. So next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a black pen with a brush tip, and this is a water-based marker, and I'm just gonna color in that eye and close my MISTI cover and stamp that over. And that didn't get good coverage, so I'm just going to do it again. And there, that's much better. And now we have a black eyeball on our red truck. Sorry, that was a little crooked. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the matching die and position that over my stamped image. And I'm going to take some blue painter's tape and I'm going to cut that out with my die cut machine. Okay, and here is my image. Die cut out, and you can see a little better how he has a little black eye instead of a red eye. And the way that you would do this without a MISTI, let me get a stamp block. Where are my stamp blocks? Here's one. You would just get your stamp block and you would do the exact same thing. You'd ink it up with the red, take the baby wipe and wipe off his eyeball, and then stamp him on your card stock. Then what you're going to do is clean off your stamp, get the marker and color the eye black, and then you just have to match up the image. And because you're just over stamping that one little eyeball, the rest of it doesn't have to be matched up perfectly. You're just trying to get that eyeball on there, and that's how you do it. And one other thing you can do is just cover it up by using a googly eye, which would actually be really fun for this. So those are options if you don't have the MISTI. Okay, now I'm gonna put my things to the side here, and I'm gonna use my MISTI again for my card base, and I am just sticking this in the corner, and I'm taking out my heart splatter stamp. And I'm going to line that up where I want it to stamp. And that looks good. And of course I'm going to have to fix my cardstock. Okay. Then I'm going to take that same real red ink pad and ink up my stamp. Oh, I see a spot I missed. And then I'm going to close my MISTI and stamp that down. Okay, and that looks great. I'm going to take this out and I'm going to let it dry for just a minute or two while I clean off my stamp. Okay, now what I'm going to do is take my red strip and I'm going to put ETG adhesive on the back and stick it to my card. And I'm going to put it just below the bottom of the heart splatter. And by the way, another use for your MISTI is that it can help you line things up. I'm going to put my card in the corner and see if that is straight. And it is not, so I'm going to fix it. And that looks much better. Okay. Of course, you can use a ruler for that, or you can just eyeball it. Or if you have some sort of a grid mat, you can line it up with your grid mat. And now what I'm going to do is take my little digger and I'm going to position him where I think I want him to go, but I'm not going to glue him down yet because I want to stamp my sentiment first. And that's from the same set. This is I'm going to use the I Dig You. And I'm going to position that where I want it. That looks good. Now I can just take my block. Oh, that's too small. This is way too big, but that's alright. I could also use my MISTI for this. I'm going to take my VersaFine Onyx Black ink pad and stamp that down where I want it. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is mount my digger on foam tape. So that he stands out a little bit from that background. Okay. I'm just going to take off all those backing papers. Okay, and then I'm going to mount this right where I want it. And there we go. Our card is done. A very simple, super easy, clean and simple. This could be Valentine's, but it doesn't have to be, even though it's red and white and it has hearts and says I dig you. This could be just an all occasion card for anybody. It's just really cute and fun. So I hope you like this, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube, and we'll see you over at www.yournextstamp.com for these products and many others. Thanks for watching.